Well, federal investigators are looking into the beating of a Pearl River man by 5 St Tammany deputies. Friends of the Army veteran had called police to check on him after he posted on Facebook that he was having a rough night. Well, the 5 deputies beat him and tased him, even though he was never accused of committing a crime. Here's investigative reporter Katie Moore with a story developed along with our partners at the New Orleans Advocate.
An Army veteran suffering from anxiety and depression was having a difficult night January 21st. Chris Cambre shared his struggle in a Facebook post, and his friends called 911 to get police to check on him. Pearl River Police and Fire Department paramedics arrived, trying to convince him to go to the hospital.
After speaking to my own officer, he was very calm and just didn't want to go to the hospital.
With just one police officer on duty, Pearl River called the St Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office for backup. 5 deputies arrived and approached Cambre with rifles drawn. The police report details what happened next. Cambre raised his shirt to show the deputies he was unarmed, but he never raised his voice. He was calm, but the report says one of the deputies yelled he was tired of dealing with Cambre and yelled, "Get down on your knees."
I don't understand what he did wrong to even deserve to be tased or batoned, but I wasn't out there.
The police report says the 5 deputies jumped on Cambre after tasing him. One continued beating him with a police baton. He was handcuffed and taken to the hospital bruised and bleeding from his jaw. He was never charged with a crime. Cambre filed an internal affairs complaint with the St. Tammany Sheriff's Office, but says they told him 2 weeks later the case was closed.
After we found out that they decided the case is closed, that their officers handled it properly, then it was turned over to the DA's office, which is now also looking into this case.
DA Warren Montgomery says he handed the case over to federal investigators to determine if Cambre's civil rights were violated.
Sheriff Smith declined an interview request for this story, but there's a lot more to it, especially when you hear what happened from Chris Cambre himself.
They're screaming at me to stop resisting, but there was no resistance. I was laying face down pretty much in the mud. My hands were behind me with my palms facing skyward. I remember that. I'll never forget that.
We'll have an exclusive interview with him tomorrow night in our extended 5 p.m. newscast. And in the meantime, we developed this story with our partners over at the New Orleans Advocate. You can read more online and in tomorrow's newspaper. Natalie?
All right, you won't want to miss that story, Katie. Thank you.